tough loss. We started out quick. That was really what we thought would have been a key to the game. Started out quick. I was real pleased with our tempo offensively, real pleased with our defense. And really, at halftime, we felt good. Coming out of the second half, offensively, third downs, I think that was really the key. We only had one third down conversion in the second half, and the biggest play of the game was the punt return. And we've been very good covering punts up to that point. And kid hit the sideline. They got a couple blocks right there, and obviously that was the key to the game, or one of the big keys to the game. Tough loss. I told our team that obviously we're disappointed. This is only one loss in the SEC. We still control our own destiny, and it's not going to be the end of the world. We're going to rebound.
That's the post-game speech that Auburn fans have been dreading to hear after every big game, when Auburn was so close and had the game potentially in the bag. Gus Malzahn always gets on his post-game interview, and he gives the "we had our chances." It's come to know, at least I've coined the phrase, the "we had our chances" speech. And that's really one of the biggest areas of disdain for Gus Malzahn amongst the Auburn faithful. I think when you really look at this, there are many reasons, actually way more reasons, to like Gus Malzahn than it is to dislike Gus Malzahn. Well, first of all, he's given Alabama a formidable challenge every year, more so than any other team in the conference. He always poses a challenge. His teams are always well prepared to play against Alabama. Alabama, obviously, one of the best dynasties going in college football, but unfortunately, Tuscaloosa and Auburn are in the same state. You're Auburn, and you're having to compete with the face of college football in your backyard. That's something that's really hard to do year in and year out, and Auburn has done an excellent job of competing with Alabama on a high level, actually beating them twice in the last 5 years, which is I don't think any team can say, other maybe Ole Miss and those lucky wins that they got against Alabama, but not many teams can say that they can even begin to play on the same football field with Alabama, in which the same way Auburn has over the past few years. Another thing that I really have come to like about Gus Malzahn is his personal growth as a coach. I think over the years we've started to see Gus Malzahn mature. Now, we got to remember, this is the same guy who was coaching high school football and was kind of thrown into the college ranks as an offensive coordinator at the University of Arkansas, hung out there for a couple of years, and then he came over to Auburn as an offensive coordinator and had the opportunity to coach Cam Newton. I don't know how much coaching you have to do when you have a athletic phenomenon like Cam Newton, and kind of put him on the map, kind of put Gus Malzahn on the map as an offensive coordinator. Then a little bit after that, he goes to Arkansas State and was very successful there for the first year he was there, led Arkansas State to the Sun Belt Conference Championship. Then coming back to Auburn as the head coach. Probably a little grunting going on with the Auburn fans, but Gus Malzahn, surprisingly, with his crew and his staff, helped lead Auburn to the national championship in his first year as the Auburn head coach. Then after that, reality kind of set in. All right, 2014, Auburn was kind of poised or in position to make a run at the national championship. They had a lot of key players coming back. Started out the season 7-1, and then the epic collapse that we've come to see over the past few years started in that season. Very unlikely losses to Texas A&M at home. They lost to South Carolina. Then they just got demolished by Georgia 34-7. And then losing a shootout against Alabama, which led to them firing their defensive coordinator, Ted Roof. That has been pretty much the aggravating trend of Gus Malzahn. And that's why Auburn fans have come to have a lot of disdain towards Gus Malzahn over the years. And somewhat rightfully so, and somewhat not rightfully so. Now, here's the deal. I think moving forward, Gus Malzahn has finally learned his lesson. He's recruiting heavily in the key positions that have hurt him in the past, that being the quarterback position and the running back position. He has a wealth of talent in both areas. Now, defense hasn't necessarily been his Achilles heel, oddly enough, because what used to happen is Gus Malzahn would have this monster offense but couldn't stop nobody. Now he can stop people but people are starting to figure his offense out. So he definitely has to have the depth to where he has options. Kerryon Johnson did an incredible job last season, but with the SEC being as brutal as it is, you cannot have one guy game in and game out running 30 times with the football. So he has a lot of options. He has Cam Martin, he has Sean Shivers, he has Asa Martin. He also has Jartarvius Booby Whitlow out of Lafayette, Alabama, who's going to be, add a little depth and a few more options to his arsenal. Also, he has like a superior depth at receiver, looking pretty good on defense. So the Auburn fan base has every reason to believe that this season can be a very good season for Auburn. Now, given their schedule, I'm really not sure how they're going to be able to pull off an undefeated season with the likes of Washington, LSU, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Alabama, and Georgia on the schedule. But you can look forward to a very exciting season. And I'll go ahead and tell you, if Gus Malzahn and his troops can pull off a 9-win season, I think that is very successful considering the schedule that they have. You have every reason to like Gus Malzahn for another reason. He's got all his coaches back. He's got the offensive coordinator back. He has some continuity on the defense where he has Coach Kevin Steele back. I mean, this is a huge thing for Gus Malzahn. Another thing I like is Gus Malzahn is not relying so heavily on junior college transfers. I think he kind of learned his lesson with that, because that's kind of a lazy way to approach this thing, a quick fix. Now, I can see if you get a junior college transfer, maybe to add some depth to a position, or a little bit of experience, but to rely on a junior college transfer as your end-all, be-all, I think that's where you get in trouble, and that's where he got in trouble with JF3, Juvan Robinson, and Duke Williams back in the day. Depending on those guys, although they're talented, but a lot of times they bring a lot of behavioral baggage to the table. So what can we expect? I think this year you're going to see a much more balanced, a much more calmer Gus Malzahn, who has experience around him. He's starting to get to know his coaching staff and understand that his coaching staff really, really needs to be able to do their jobs effectively. And, he kind of helps him and bring in his expertise as we see fit. But let the coaches coach. I think Gus Malzahn is now in a position where he should have that trust, and he should know that this is something that he's going to have to do if he's going to maintain his success and be able to hang on to that 7-year, $49 million contract that he's gotten with the Auburn Tigers. I wish Auburn all the best of luck this year, and those are my reasons why I like Gus Malzahn. I really like his development. I really like where he is and where his program is and the kind of personnel that he has around him. I think he will have a pretty successful season. Maybe not a national championship, maybe not even go back to the SEC championship, but I think it's the beginning of some great things at Auburn. You all take care. Once again, this is Vernon Speaks Sports. You all have a good day.